Very good morning to everyone, to all the participants. I welcome you to the 37th episode of Yaniki Tech Talk on the real world challenges of EV batteries. So, this is one of the most spoken challenges in the adoption of EV and is the battery technology. So, trying to make it better with new technologies coming in with new battery chemistries, energy densities, and so on. It's been posing a lot of problems to the existing one. So, that all the problems have to be resolved, or like what are the present real time challenges is still a question that all of us are thinking about. So, today with us we have Mr. Lalit Goyal, founder of Alliance Marketing, with about 13 years of experience working in the EV space. He has helped more than 10,000 people by imparting knowledge through his training and coaching in the particular field. He has founded the Alliance Marketing to expand his horizons and address the challenges in business like sales, marketing, operation, and growth. It's an honor to have you with us today, sir. I welcome you on behalf of all the participants in Team Canada. So you can start with your presentation. Going forward.
Thank you, Shivani. Yeah, welcome everyone on board. Okay, so let me start first showing you lithium ion cells. Okay, so the most common one is lithium metal. Okay, now these are not primary cells. Okay, these are not primary cells that we use in our remotes in air conditioners. These are lithium ion cells. Okay, and these are called metal cells. So they are one type of lithium ion cells, and we make a battery pack of these metal cells to use them. Okay, just like this. Okay, we arrange cells in parallel and series so that we can get the maximum current of voltage so that we can derive the motor. Okay, then we have prismatic cell, which is very wide, mostly used in electric vehicles, and these are one cell. Okay, one cell is like this, so they are two, and they are connected like this with brushes and laser welding. Okay, then we have the most common one that we use today, the lithium pouch cell. Okay, now the lithium pouch cells are the one that we use in our laptops, that we use in our mobile phones. So everyone today have a mobile, and in that mobile the battery is lithium ion. Okay, so these are the three types of lithium ion cells. Now each and every cell has a problem. Okay, in electronic industry, and what was the limitation that gave lithium ion cell a better option in electronics is that they can store more. Okay, they can store more current compared to the batteries that were previously coming in the market. One is lead acid, one is nickel cadmium. Okay, now let's first understand the working of these lithium ion batteries so that we can understand that how they basically work. Okay, so over your screen you can see a lithium ion cell. Okay, now with the help of graphics I will like to explain. When you charge these vehicles with these cells with electric current, what happens? The lithium molecule, the lithium atom gives electron through the power supply, and lithium goes through the electrolyte or the separator of anode and cathode. You can say negative and positive. So when you give electric current, what happens? The electron go from negative to positive as per the principle of electricity, right? And lithium goes from the electrolyte. You can see the white molecules moving from one direction to another. So when we are charging them, they will go from negative to positive, and when we discharge them, they will go from positive to negative. So basically what we do is that we give path, a controlled path, because lithium is very reactive. Okay, if you see the electrochemical potential of lithium, It's 3.2. That means it can lose its electron very easily. So if you use lithium in open air and you drop it in water, you will see a reaction happening. Okay. So we basically control this property of lithium by mixing lithium with other metals. Okay. Can be nickel cobalt, can be lithium, LFP that we say, can be titanium, can be other metals like cobalt, magnesium. Okay. So these are NMC cells, LFP cells, and other chemical chemistry cells that we use. Okay. Now you have to understand, when we talk about lithium, because we need more power, we need fast charging. Okay, we don't have that much of time to wait whole night. If we talk about lead acid battery, we can't charge these lead acid battery whole night. If we want to use them 3 or 4 times a day, we can't wait for that 8 to 10 hour charge. Right or wrong? Right or wrong, guys? We need a better option than that, and we need more current so that more applications can be done using the required portable current. Okay, so that's basically, if you see, the green arrow shows when you are charging these cells. When you are charging these cells, they will move from their metal compound to graphites. Okay, and the red arrow shows when you discharge, they will move from the negative side to positive. Okay, you can see over in the description also. Okay, that's the working of lithium ion cell. And when we talk about why we require lithium ion, because they have a very good electrochemical potential. You can see 35% of the size of lithium ion is required compared to 100% of lead acid battery. 25% of the weight is required. 15 years of life is there. When we talk about it, 8 times more durable than lead acid and other rechargeable cells. When we talk about operating temperature, it's very less. They have a very good calibrated temperature. They require a battery management system because they are highly reactive, and we have to control that reaction so that we can use and give path to electron and the lithium molecule. Okay, and when we talk about the advantages of lithium ion, they have very high energy density, so the cell will become a small one. The weight is less, so it's more flexible, transportable, and the voltage, the flow of electron is compared high if you compare them with lead acid and other rechargeable batteries. They have very good safety, they have no maintenance, they can be charged fast and they can be discharged fast. So higher applications can be done, and you don't require a liquid electrolyte. That means there is no leakage. The only disadvantage to them is that they are expensive, and right now they are available in a very limited package. So there are 3 types of cell when we talk about. One is cylindrical, one is prismatic, and one is polymer. So energy density of cylindrical is comparatively, when we say best, then prismatic, then polymer. When we talk about standard sizes, because these cells have come up, and if you remember our laptop batteries, they have you can combine into maximum front rows. Okay, when we talk about the cost, as because of mass production, cylindrical has a very good cost, and uh, the cost when we talk about the cost, because of mass production, the cost of cylindrical is at a very good side as compared to prismatic. But polymer is also right now very widely used and very used in good number and good quantities, so their rates are also coming down. The profile is bit poor because they get heat easily because they are in metal content, right? When we talk about prismatic, they are better than cylindrical, and polymer are the best. Okay, when we talk about the weight component, prismatic and polymer are comparatively very flexible. Then we talk about metal because of their weight of metal. When we talk about the efficiency, metal cells are very good, prismatic are better, and polymer are the best. And when we talk about the biggest problem of swelling, okay, biggest problem of swelling, cylindricals are the best. Polymers, they get swell easily. I'll show you. And prismatic have a problem. Okay. Now, when we move ahead, there are different compositions that are used today. One is NMC. Now, NMC is basically nickel, magnesium, cobalt mixed with lithium. That's why we call it NMC. Second is LFP, the lithium which is mixed with iron phosphate. It's called LFP. And one is nickel cobalt. And we have other introductions like lithium air, lithium silicon, lithium titanium, which are right now not commercially into production, but studies going on. Okay. Now I'm ready to take the questions. If anyone has any questions. Okay.
Vijay here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear
Mr.
you.
Vijay.
Yeah. You were talking about the swelling of batteries on the cell phones of the earlier lot. One, I mean, personally, I knew I've experienced it.
Okay.
Has this changed, or I mean, or for vehicle batteries, will that swelling? Is there technology to control that?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, essentially, if you could speak a little more on the swelling of the batteries,
Okay. The battery in front of you. Okay, you can see.
Yeah, nothing on the
Let me
slide
answer
yet.
that. It's a very good question. Swelling of lithium-ion battery. Okay,
Yes.
I just.
Okay, thank
The
you.
swelling of these lithium-ion batteries. If you see this pack, you know, you can see the surface is uneven. I'll just show you.
Okay.
You can see on the
Yeah,
screen my camera is on. Okay. There's some bubbles just okay. Now this is quite solid. Okay, I'll show you more.
yeah, it
But
bulges. It bulges. It bulges. You can see the bulge.
okay, okay. On the camera, you can see this metal one. It is swelled. Yeah,
Okay.
you can see the pulse. Okay. Now, this is not because of any technology. This is because of the property of lithium ion. Now, what happens? Lithium has a tendency, electron have a tendency when you charge these cells, they move from metal oxide to graphite. When you keep on charging these cells, 100% lithium has moved from charging them. What will happen? Because when we talk about lithium ion cell or any charging technology, we are basically transferring electrical energy into chemical energy, right? We are transferring electrical energy into chemical energy. When the whole chemical energy has been transmitted because of electrical energy and there is nothing left, heat energy will generate. Because when we talk about the principle of engineering, we are basically into transfer of energies because energies can't be created, right? So when these uh, cells are charged, or we can say they are overcharged, the temperature builds up in the lithium ion cell, right? If you say
Okay.
a battery pack, the number of lithium ion cells are there, everyone will face the heat, right? The temperature will increase, so the atmospheric pressure inside these cells will increase, right? When the
Okay.
pressure increases, there are two ways. If it can be managed through battery management system, if you have a battery management system, this problem must not occur. But if you don't have a battery management system like in our mobile phones and in our laptop batteries, what happens? We don't get the indication that the temperature of these cell is rising. Even in laptop, the fan gets start, we understand a bit, but in mobile phones, we don't have any sensors. Yes or no?
Correct. No sensors. Not that I know.
Now,
Correct.
because of that failure of technology or the failure of communication of the cell, that okay, they are getting heated, we don't discharge, we don't disconnect them from the charging, right? And the temperature will get build on, will increase the atmospheric pressure of the cell and the will start swelling. Now, when the cell gets start swelling, that means it will lose its normal property of getting charge and discharge. That efficiency will come down because the chemical composition of the cell, there will be a reaction in respect to the heat. Yes or no?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
it
and
gets
that's why the
altered.
swelling comes. Yeah.
But
Now, what a BMS can
there's
do?
been
Yeah,
no breakthrough to control or manage that or discharge or stop charging.
we do that. We have that mechanism. Let me show you a BMS for that. Now, these types of BMS are available when we talk about electric vehicles. Okay, in electric vehicles we use number of cells like 700, like 3000 in series and parallel, like battery packs we use. Okay, now these battery packs are connected with these types of electronic device. Now these electronic device basically monitor the temperature of the cell and the current which is stored in them, so that we can get the instant value that how much energy we have. And
Hmm.
these basically give us an indication that okay, the temperature is increasing or the cell is charged to 90% to plus. When it gets 90% plus, it basically isolates charging so that the temperature of the cells does not get higher. Okay, but in our user to make the cost on a lower side, the pouch cells, basically that's not used. Now there is a technology which is in the picture which gives you a timing, because if you are using a 45-watt charger, your charging time will be less, but the charging rate will be on a higher side. So the temperature will increase. So now a technology is developed. You can download those BMS apps and they will only use the timing, that how much time your phone requires to charge. According to the cycle they can give you a monitoring that okay, they can do. But in laptops we have that the mains is connected, battery charging gets off. That sort of facility we can't do in mobile phones as of now. The technology is not that much developed, but in future time we are seeing that when the silicon cells or lithium air cells will in picture, that problem will be solved. Okay,
Okay.
I was able to answer your question,
Yeah, it
Mr.
made me
Vijay?
more enlightened. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So to add to this question, Mr. Vijay, so in the AIS 48, the testing that we do for the lithium batteries in India, okay.
Mhm.
So we verify basically not only the flammability and other characteristics, even this inflammation and bulging of the lithium cells are also verified. So when we perform the in the AIS 48, we have this overcharge test, nail penetration test, and short circuit, and nearly 5 tests are there. So where in all these tests the inflammation is also being seen. Visible inflammation is not allowed, is not permitted for the battery cells. So this is also verified by the testing agencies.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So Mr. Vijay Chauri is asking, what are the reasons for frequent incidences of fire in electric vehicles, especially the two-wheelers?
Wow, very good question. That what is the reason behind getting the fire of these two wheelers? Okay. First of all, I will like to tell you that 90% of the OEMs who are making two wheelers, they don't own the battery pack. Okay, they take battery packs from a local vendor. Now, to reduce cost of the scooter, they have to reduce the cost of these battery packs. And where the problem comes up, let me explain you, because this problem is very genuine and it's faced by a lot of people day to day. What are the measures we can take and what are the reasons behind that? Let's discuss on that. Okay. The first thing I said was lithium ion metal cell. Okay. Now these metal cells are placed in a battery pack. Okay. So number of cells are there. Now, this number of cells, now these battery packs look like something like this. Okay. Now this is a 60-volt function. Now here are number of cells. Okay. Just like this. If you see in an open environment, this is what we make. Now it is connected with a BMS. Okay. You can see the BMS over it, right? Now this battery management system has some electronic device and some MOSFETs. Okay, over the time, if you are charging these cells with a higher current, okay, because these cells store DC current and the power supply you have is AC. So like your mobile, you have a charger. Like your mobile, you have a charger, right? Now, if like your mobile, you charge this battery pack and you keep it overnight and the charger keeps on charging, what will happen? Heat will incur in these cells because 100% chemical reaction will happen because these are fast charging cells. Yes or no? So if unsafe charging method is used, the temperature of these cells will increase. And how they are unsafe? What is the non-safe charging method? A battery pack which is not having a battery management system. Okay. Now the battery management system is an electronic device which can take decisions and which can give the indication that batteries charge or the current is not good, they are not going to charge, is what the error is. So the communication between these cells and human gets started, because if you get a digital communication, you understand what action you can take. Or secondly, these BMS can perform the action on your behalf if you talk smart BMS. Okay. Now, because of uncontrolled charging, we get this problem in first stage. Second stage problem is these BMS, battery management system, have some electronic components and some electrical components like MOSFET. Over the charging, discharging, these MOSFET require a service. These MOSFET require a replacement. Okay, if you use an electric vehicle over the time, the state of health of these lithium ion cells goes down. If one of the cell gets faulty, whole battery pack won't work, you will get an indication. So you have to replace that cell. So the service and maintenance of these lithium ion battery packs is required, and people don't have awareness regarding that, and that's the second reason these electric vehicles catch on fire. If I talk about the companies which make a better lithium ion battery pack, better battery management system, they don't have these issues like the top developers in the industry. Like Tesla, we can talk about Mercedes, we can talk about Toyota, we can talk about even Tata, we can talk about, right? But the two-wheeler companies, which are not, which vehicle are not even getting the approval from ARI, they are just doing the assembly, and to keep the cost on the lower side, they are playing with these battery management system and these lithium ion cell battery pack. And that becomes the biggest problem, because what we want you to understand is that the quality and the technology is very simple. The only thing is that if people become aware, they don't buy these types of ill-proven or unproved lithium-ion battery packs in those two-wheelers. The incidence of fire will come to 1%. That means one scooter per 10 lakh. Okay, piece per billion. So that's the technology can do. But because of the mismanagement and the margin predators in the market, we get such problems.
Yeah. So thank you. So I think there is another interesting question from Mr. Deepak Chavan. When we will have battery box which will cater for 1,000 kilometers range and charging time max 30 minutes. So he is expecting a timeline, a kind of a
Okay.
projection. Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you, the lithium-ion cell came in 1990s. Okay, we had our laptops, then our smartphones, then electric vehicles. The level of charging, the maximum charging, if you do a DC charging, the health of these lithium-ion battery goes down if you're every time doing a fast charging. So that's something I just want you to have information on. So we always say AC charging is better than DC charging. So we even don't suggest of fast charging. But a battery pack with 1,000 mile with a 30-minute charge time, there are developments in silicon. Lithium silicon can be an answer. Lithium air batteries can be an answer. So these two technologies are in picture. Once the commercial production starts, we can see some great improvements. But 1,000 mile is something still I can't comment on. Thank you.
Yeah. So Mr. Amit Aher is also having an interesting question. Which are the new technology apart from lithium ion battery cells, and what are the chances of getting this technology in series production?
Okay, when I talk about the charge hold supercapacitor is a one technology which is in picture. But there, what happens? You charge them; they take charge at a better speed compared to lithium-ion batteries. But they can't hold that current. So lithium-ion, the only thing is that the composition of lithium-ion will change, but other technologies which can hold the current. Because when we talk about electric vehicles, all the trams or the metros and trains, they all are electric vehicles, right? Any vehicle which operates on motor is an electric vehicle. Yes or no? Let me give you a short presentation on that also. Give me a minute so that you can again like of lithium ion and the other technologies. So I just share a presentation with you. Give me a minute. Okay. So that question is very well taken care of. Okay. So what is an electric vehicle? Because if you talk about the technology, there are a lot of technologies, right? Okay. So let's first understand what we are going to talk about. Okay, what is an electric vehicle? If you see on your screen, metros and trams which are running from 100 years, they are electric vehicles and they run on continuous power supply, right? And they are called electric vehicles because they propel on motor. When we talk about these electric vehicles that we are looking is battery operated electric vehicle. Okay, the battery gives you a freedom and a flexibility to drive this vehicle anywhere, so you are using portable power. Okay, now your question is, in portable power, is lithium ion only one option? No, lead acid was an option, but the charging time is a limitation of lead acid. Okay, and other technologies which are there like super capacitors, or we can talk about these other like fuel cell or hydrogen. Hydrogen is again answer. Okay, hydrogen is again answer to these lithium ion sources, but again lithium ion battery, a part of that will be involved because these battery utility and capability is always on a very higher side compared to other sources. So if you talk about a fuel cell vehicle, that fuel cell vehicle again is an electric vehicle which is having two power source. One is hydrogen and second is electric vehicle. Okay, so right now, the only thing is that we have to be consolidate on one, adaptive power, and second is alternate power. Hope I was able to answer that question, Amit.
Just wanted to understand the alternative option to the lithium ion cell in the battery only. That
I just
other
explained
fuel
it.
cell and that.
I explained. Give me a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
explain with
yeah, yeah,
another
yeah.
presentation. I'll just explain with another presentation.
Yeah, maybe to add on to Mr. Amit Aher's question. See, right
Yeah.
now in the lithium itself, like we have these. In addition to this, in for example, companies like Toyota, they have the solid state batteries into series production already. So they have already developed the concept, and for some of the vehicles, they have already fitted the solid state batteries. It is basically the electrode itself, it's the electrolyte what they use basically, right? It's a completely different concept being implemented in Toyota, because Toyota is a company which is long for a very long term they are using this nickel cadmium batteries actually, whereas most of the other EVs were using lithium batteries. So Toyota has been very long time they are using this nickel cadmium batteries, and now they are very relying on the solid state batteries. So maybe it's not a very long time. So very soon we may get solid state batteries getting into complete series production. Maybe at least in Toyota vehicles, at least in Japanese vehicle companies itself. So that is there. Just to add on there. Yeah. So if
No, it's a
Lalit.
very good answer because solid state batteries are also coming up, but we have to check once they are commercially available
Yeah.
that what result come up. And secondly, when we talk about all the technologies which we have in picture as of now, or today's time or tomorrow's time, I'll just share this presentation so you can just have a understanding that what other exhibitions in electric vehicles we have. So I will just share that so that you have a broader picture as compared to this electric vehicle. So what are the alternatives? So When we talk about electric vehicles, so there are basically five types of electric vehicles which have come up. Okay, one is battery operated electric vehicle where we are using lithium ion, and these are pure battery operated electric vehicles. They don't have alternate power. Then we have hybrid electric vehicles. Now these hybrid electric vehicles have diesel or petrol engine combined with electrical engines. Okay, then we have plug-in hybrid, which is again an extension to these hybrid electric vehicles, and then we have fuel cell electric vehicles, and then we also have solar cells electric vehicles which have come in the picture, and they are able to self-charge themselves through the sun energy itself. But still, all of them are using lithium ion as a technology. And if you want, I just show you what a fuel cell vehicle is, so you can have a better understanding of what we say, uh, the later technology which we in India believe that can be a solution to hydrogen and this what we say pollution. So I'll just show you what a fuel cell hybrid electric vehicle is. So when you see a fuel cell hybrid electric vehicle, this technology was basically developed by Toyota only because they are again the leaders in this management. So fuel cell technologies are basically these fuel cells are basically having lithium ion batteries. Now fuel stack these hydrogen cylinders to store hydrogen energy and motors to propel these vehicles. Now what happened? You fill hydrogen as a fuel, alternate fuel in these vehicles, okay, and you have lithium ion battery packs, again a second power. So there are two alternate powers. One is hydrogen, which will combine with this fuel stack and will create electricity, and second is stored power. So in case you have a better energy conservation, okay. Now this hydrogen is fueling these cylinders. When you drive these vehicles at a lower speed, say 20 km per hour, it will be running on lithium ion pack. So lithium ion electricity is basically used the stored electricity. Okay, and regenerative braking is again energy conservation that we do in even today in these diesel and petrol vehicles we are doing. So when you drive these vehicles at a smaller speeds, only battery is there. But when you use higher speeds or you want more power, fuel stack comes in picture. Now what basically happens, the fuel stack, I'll just open this fuel stack for you. When you are driving at a better speed, now what will happen, the fuel stack, it's again a type of engine combination that comes in picture. Now this fuel stack has some membranes of titanium and platinum, and we send hydrogen from one side and oxygen from one side, and they react, and when they combine they become water, giving out electricity and heat, giving out electricity and heat. And I will just try to explain you by opening this fuel stack also for you. So what a fuel stack is totally all about, so you can have a better understanding what hydrogen technology is all about. Now this fuel stack has number of membranes. Now at one side we are sending the hydrogen, and second side we are sending the oxygen. They both combine and become water, giving out electricity, giving out heat. So the combustion again is zero, just like electric vehicles. When electric vehicles are on road, because motor does not make any combustion, so there is no exhaust. So again, there is no exhaust, so no harm to pollution. Now this hydrogen technology is one technology which is the answer, but combined with lithium ion. Okay. Then again, I will just give you a short glimpse of solar vehicle, because that's again something that will give you a better understanding that what a solar cell vehicle is all about, because that's again a new technology. And instead of hydrogen we are talking about biobutanol can be alternative fuel, dimethyl ether can be again a alternative fuel, methanol can again be alternative fuel, renewable hydrocarbons or biofuels can again be fuels, and ammonia again is in lab right now. It's not commercial use, so I can't say that. So a lot of alternate fuels except hydrogen are also used, because are going in research, because hydrogen, transporting hydrogen from one place to another is always a task, and as they are highly inflammable, that again becomes a safety clause. Right now all the hydrogen stations in all over the world, they are generating hydrogen directly from the atmosphere or maybe from the water. Okay, so these are again alternative fuels. And one again I'll just try to explain you the solar cell. Okay, now the Sion is a commercial available vehicle, and this commercial available vehicle is a solar vehicle. It's made, the body's chassis is made of solar panels. There are around 330 solar cells. Okay. Now these solar cells, when sun is falling and directly on them, they can generate electricity to the tune of 30 kilometers, right? Just 30 kilometers, they can generate this electricity. They can charge, or they can use these lithium-ion batteries, and you can use that for 30 kilometers. A lot of developments are going on, but when this technology can be from this 7% of use to 65% or 70% of use, these things are going on, and we can have these alternate energies also, which will be tomorrow coming. But lithium ion as a portable source of power, as a portable charging and discharging source, will remain for the next 10 years as the base bottom line of these technologies. Okay, hope I was able to answer your question, Amit.
Yeah, thank you.
So yes. So to add on to Amit's question, there is one more battery, like the sodium ion batteries. So right now the sodium ion batteries are also gaining momentum as of now, because very recently I saw some companies from UK and as well as in Germany having series production models on the sodium ion batteries. So the advantage that these sodium ion batteries they produce is like they can operate very good at even a low temperature, because the drawback with the lithium batteries is that at extreme low temperatures you have a degradation. The performance of the battery drops a lot in lithium batteries. So the sodium ion batteries would survive even such kind of extreme low temperature conditions. So that is also something which I want to add on there. Yeah.
And one thing I just
So
want to add for
next there is a
everyone.
question.
I just want to add
Yeah.
something. Right now, we are teaching
Yeah.
these number of kids, and I just want to show you that we are in our class. So we are basically teaching all these students from lithium ion, and they are also working on some alternates. But right now, there is nothing which can be said can be commercially used, because when we say something which can be commercially available is
Correct.
something we can adapt, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. What was
Yeah,
the
that's
next
what the
question?
question. The question from the participant was like, the chances of getting into series production. So yes, of course, in future there are many different types of chemistries would come. So let us wait and watch on that. So there is another question from Archit. What modifications are or can be done by leading OEMs to avoid swelling in the pouch cells?
Right now, the patent technology of LG, the latest patent that they have, the formation technology, that patent they have, that's a solution. Because when you are using these pouch cells in that technology, or you're using plating the cathode, anode, and electrolyte in that way of compressing it, because they have a patent, so we can't show you right away. But that technology has come up, and that's a very good solution, and it has reduced swelling to a tune of say 25 to 30%. And without anode, the lob without lob, that the new cell which is coming, Tesla, which is under development with Panasonic. A lot of social media is also there on it. It is also again a solution to that problem,
Yeah. So
right?
Archit, are you there? Archit, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, so to add on to Lalit sir's point, if you see in the lithium batteries, you have this anode and cathode, where you actually we basically apply the graphite on a material, right? Either for example, you have copper collector and the aluminum collectors. So we basically coat these graphite and the lithium oxides on these collectors. So when we coat this, we basically apply some bonding agents, right? So the bonding agents, they have actually some amount of characteristic difference, and they can actually they are also one of the reason for this bulging of these cells. So when you apply this bonding the bonding chemicals, so the evenness throughout the collector, throughout the graphite, throughout the aluminum collector or the copper collector, we basically need to apply this bonding equally. So this is also something which is leading to bulging of the cells. So just to add on to the point, so there is one more question from Vijay Chaure sir. Are there
Yeah.
any standards in India or international level for certifying the EVs or at least the battery and BMS before putting in use?
Yeah, there are standards. IEJ 1551. If you talk about standards, I like to share the standards. A very good question. So even I will like to share that what the standards are and how those standards are implemented also. So in India we have ARI standards, we have ICAT standards for lithium-ion battery packs, which can be used in electric vehicles. Okay, when we talk about electric vehicles, ARI has a standards, and ICAT gives the lithium-ion battery packs standards. And when we talk about international, then there are other standards, and I'll just give you the names of those standards, so we will try to explain you that standards, what standards are all about. Okay, give me a minute. And even open charge point protocol, some open source softwares, again they have become the industrial standards when we talk today, right? So we have some sort of one is IEC 6181851, which is there. Then we have another one which is called IEC 62196, which is again an international standard. Then we have again ISO 15118, which is again a standard in which lithium ion cell is there, charging is there, even electric vehicle is there, and the open charge point protocol or the standard protocols in the industries are there. And there are some protocols which are going to come in picture, like ISO 15181, which will be talking about other features. Then will be ISO 15182, which will be talking about network and application. Then there will be ISO 15518, which talks about network and application. Then we have uh, UDP, user data program protocols, transmission control protocols. Then we have IP protocols. Okay, so even layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, a lot of layer is coming up. So a lot of safety and controlled environment is generating, because this is a technology which will be a future technology. So safety and agile technology is also used. So a lot of standards are there, depending on the country and depending on the OEM. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
hope I was able to answer your question.
Yeah. So to yes, sir. So to add on to this, Vijay Chorer, sir, I have also added some standards in the chat box, so you can note it down. So the ISO 6469. So we have a part one to part four. So these standards basically talk about the electric vehicle safety related concerns. And as sir rightly mentioned, the ARAI standards. So in India, we have this AIS 48 right now for the battery packs, and we also have one more standard, AIS 156, which is an upcoming standard for battery pack of two-wheelers and three-wheelers. And if you ask international level, then you have in United States you have a standard called FMVSS, Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards 305. So this is a crash electrical vehicle crash safety. So after a crash, what happens, what should not happen, so all these do's and don'ts are mentioned in this FMVSS 305. So these are the some specific standards related to safety, sir, actually. Yeah. So
Yeah,
is there
really. Thanks for
any
adding
more?
it.
Yeah, welcome, sir. So is there any more questions to Lalit Goel, sir, from any participants? So any more questions, audience? Okay. So I think yeah, I think there are no more questions as of now.
Yeah,
So
we can answer
yeah.
them. They can send us, and we can answer them. Not a
Yeah, sure. So, sure. So, for any more questions, feel free to contact Mr. Lalit Goyal. So, he'll be definitely ready to answer your questions related to EV. And I believe Lalit Goyal is now sitting at Gurgaon, sir. Are you placed in Gurgaon, Haryana, or
problem.
like
Yeah, I'm placed in Gurgaon,
Gurgaon? Gurgaon. Okay. So
and
he's
we have a
placed out in,
Gurgaon
yeah,
only, where
yeah,
we are
yeah.
repairing all these lithium-ion batteries from Pan India. If anyone wants to come and see practically, can also come and watch.
Sure, 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 sure. So thank you for your time, Mr. Lalit Goyal, for giving a complete knowledge sharing session. And I believe you have given a fruitful information to all the participants today. And we really thank you for being part of Gyaniki's even today Tech Talk today. So we look forward for more number of sessions in the future in more different interesting topics as well. So
Definitely.
yeah,
Thank
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for being such a lovely participant. You can reach me for all your queries, and let's together move this revolution to the next level. That on road we see more than 50% of electric vehicles. So that's our mission and vision with Kyanki. So I hope everyone participating will support us in this, and let's make environment something better for our kids. What do you say?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you everyone.